channel. So as you can see, we have, well, a new toy, and it's a Borescope. It's a Borescope camera, and it looks like it's a decent one actually. I mean, I've had these before, and the one I've had in the past, it was all right, but this seems like it's a lot better. And basically what happened was, as I got offered it to do sort of a review on, which I'm not particularly good at, but when it's something that I actually think that looks pretty good and I could use it and I want it, I just said yeah. So let's have a look at it. That's what it is. That's how they make and all that sort of stuff. And when we open it, it's got carry case, get rid of that. And then inside here, open it nice and carefully and lovingly, we can see that it has got that unit. It's got some instructions which we're not going to read. And the magic thing about this is that when you're using this camera, which has got other attachments it's got, we'll have a look at them after, but if you fondle this, yes, so you can actually turn it right back on itself, so it's looking at itself. And say you're putting it, well, I'll demonstrate in a minute, say you're putting it in an engine, you'll be able to look at, well, you'll be able to look at the valves and everything in it. Or even, if you're using it, it's probably pretty good for upskirting as well. So yeah, let's have a look at it. We'll turn this on, and as you can see, it turns on, and then the camera is now turned on. And we can move it around and around and look at different things. Now obviously when you're looking at things far away, it's not going to be brilliant because it's probably got some sort of macro lens in it to look at things close up, which we'll check in a minute. You can just, I'll show you this, you can adjust the level of the torch on it. You can take a still shot like that. It's got some sort of menu for settings. 2 megapixel we're on, does take video. You can record all this sort of stuff as well. Not sure if it has a memory card slot, I can only imagine so, or it's got built-in memory, one of the two. And the other thing is about it is, which was a pain in the dick on the other one that I used to have. My other one used to have batteries in it, and then I'd not use it for a period of time, and the batteries would go flat. So then I'd take the batteries out of it every time I wasn't using it, and then I'd have to put the batteries back in it. This is rechargeable, so you just charge up from a USB. Yeah, so scroll through here, got all these options, which, I mean, I'm not really interested in any of that really. All that sort of shit. Oh yeah, it's got 30 gigabytes internal memory. So that should be quite a lot of footage for you to watch back during masturbation. And as if by magic, I've got a BMW GS 1200 here, which is halfway through to having some work done on it, and we have got a sparkler plug missing from there. So let's see what we can see by putting that into there. There is a piston. Bearing in mind that this is the plug out of it. These are like the skinniest spark plugs you're ever likely to get. It's I think it's 10mm thread on that. So let's see if we put that in there, and then it's probably going to get stuck, but let's see what we can see. And with that lovingly inserted into the cylinder, we can see that we've got, this bike's on 70,000 miles, and look at that, we can still see all the honing marks. That looks pretty good. There's a bit of carbon on the pistons, but not really enough to worry about. And if I push this further in, I'll turn it round there. Now that's as far as it's going to let me go at the moment, I think. Yeah, that's as far as it's going to let me go at the moment, because I haven't pushed it in far enough. But if I pushed it in further, we should be able to see the valves. But I'm a bit nervous, I'll be honest with you. I'm a bit nervous about this, because this is like the smallest spark plug hole, so I'm going to have to manipulate it to get it in and out, because it is the same size as this. So I'll have to work this a little bit and then pull it and wiggle it, I think, to get that out, which is going to be loads of fun. And after a couple of minutes of, well, manipulating this whilst trying to pull it out and panicking, I have managed to get it out. Now I'm over exaggerating, it wasn't that bad, but I would say don't put this into a spark plug hole which is the same size as it. You know, these are like pretty much the smallest spark plugs threads wise you're going to get on a bike or a car, and that is, like I said, the hole is the same size as that, so when it goes in and you've got this here, it can snag up. But that is, I'd say that's more my fault than this is fault. It probably says not to use it on them in there, which I didn't read, but on anything which has got a reasonable size spark plug in it, you'll be all right, and you can see really well what's going on inside the engine. So let's have a look at what attachments we've got. So if we open this nice and carefully, we can see that we've got a mirror, so you can look at, well, you can look at things above you if you haven't got room to turn this around. You've got a magnet for picking stuff up that you've dropped inside, and you've got a hook for picking more stuff up when you drop the magnet inside. So let's put all that back in there. Oh, by the way, these screw on, they don't just push on, so they do actually, like, you're not likely to drop it off where you're going to lose one, because they do screw on and you can tighten them up. And then, I don't know if you can see the screen there, but that is, let's take that off to make it better actually, that is through the mirror, and it is still, well, it's as clear as it is without it, to be honest with you. But let's check that out and let's go and have a look at some more things under the endoscope.
Take a look at this!
Such as this, which is the same BMW, but this time, instead of putting something that's too fat into an hole that's too small, I'm going to give it a rectal examination. So let's have a look what we can see. And I'm not sure how well this is showing up on screen because there is a few reflections. I mean, you can actually, if you look in here, it has got a memory card in it. So if I was a decent YouTuber and used a computer instead of just my iPhone to do everything, then I will be able to get the footage and put it straight onto it, but I'm not, and I haven't. So anyway, when we look in there, we can see that. Try and get you so you can see it a bit better. That is there. So I'm all the way in there, and I'm looking at that exit valve or exhaust valve inside here, and you can do, I mean, like, you can zoom in on it and all sorts of stuff. And like I say, you can record it, and then that will save it, and then you can watch it back later on for your own purposes if you wish. And I think that I've pretty much shown what this is good at. I've shown its one flaw. It's not a flaw, actually. Just be careful with it. Don't put it into an hole that's too small for it, because then you could be getting it stuck. Like I say, I put it into the spark plug hole, which was the same size as that pretty much. And I knew when I was putting it in it was a bad idea, but I did it anyway. So anyone with any common sense probably wouldn't have done that. Like I said, anything that's a slightly bigger sparkler plug, you'll be all right with. And that, you know what, like I said, I screwed up doing that, but that is actually really good. I have had other Borescopes in the past. I've had a couple actually, and this is actually by far the best one I've had. I mean, I've only ever spent about 100 quid on them, which is about the same price as what this is. I'll put a link underneath it. But yeah, I'm pretty dicked up with that. I'm impressed with it. So I think I'm going to leave it here. And that's all for this one. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the usual shit. And like I say, if you do want one of these, I will leave a link to it in the video description at the bottom. Anyway, see you next time. And I'll just add this on the end. I don't think that this is actually medical grade or anything, but it does work. And observing that I appear to have weird tonsils that might or might not have something wrong with them, fuck knows. See you, bye.